A thick, unnatural fog rolled over the skyline of New York, swallowing the city in a chilling silence. People screamed in the streets, cars crashed, and lights flickered before dying entirely. Those who collapsed to the ground moments ago suddenly stood, but something in their eyes was wrong, blank, hollow, almost pleading. No one could explain it. The emergency alerts on phones and TV warned people to stay inside, but the fog moved faster than anyone could react. From Chicago to Los Angeles, the chaos spread like wildfire. Families disappeared without a trace, leaving only empty houses and abandoned cars. Governments scrambled to issue statements, but every official transmission ended abruptly with static and the same ominous warning: do not cross the line between life and death. Panic consumed the nation as social media exploded with footage of people walking through walls, whispering to loved ones who were no longer alive. In one night, everything familiar disappeared, replaced by a world where no one could trust their eyes or ears. Fear was contagious, and soon it became clear that the dead were no longer just dead. They were something else entirely, hovering on the edge of existence, hunting for those who remained alive. Ethan crouched behind the rubble of what used to be Philadelphia's city hospital, watching shadows move unnaturally in the streets. He and the group he had gathered: Mia, a resourceful medical student; Travis, a tech-savvy hacker; and Grace, a mother desperately searching for her missing daughter, had barely survived the night. The half-dead moved silently, drawn to the rhythm of living hearts, whispering names and memories as if trying to lure people into their silent world. The hospital smelled of decay, smoke, and fear, but it was safer than the streets outside. Supplies were running low, and the group knew they couldn't stay hidden forever. Discussions about the next move turned into arguments. Ethan wanted to head south to find a safe zone, while Mia insisted on finding clues to understand what was happening. Travis had managed to salvage some electronics, tapping into emergency broadcasts and discovering coordinates leading to Washington, D.C. A voice claimed to hold answers, a cure even. Grace stayed silent, clutching her empty hands where her daughter should have been. Night fell again, shadows stretched like fingers, and the group realized that survival meant facing the half-dead, understanding their strange behavior, and navigating a country that no longer belonged to the living. The group moved cautiously through the ruined streets, each step echoing like a gunshot. Sounds of distant sirens, groans, and whispers filled the air. Every corner seemed alive with unseen watchers. Travis monitored the radio signals, while Ethan kept a sharp eye on the surroundings, gun ready. Mia felt her heart tighten as she recognized the patterns in the whispers. They were trying to communicate, pleading. Suddenly, one of the half-dead slipped inside their shelter, calm, eyes locked on Grace. It whispered her daughter's name in a voice so familiar it pierced her soul. Grace's knees buckled, and for a terrifying moment she stepped forward, entranced. Ethan grabbed her arm, shouting, but the fog outside pressed in, suffocating, almost alive. The creature leaned closer, and Grace's heartbeat slowed as if she were fading. Mia's medical instincts screamed danger, while Travis frantically tried to signal an escape route. The air felt heavy, electric, charged with the tension of life and death intertwining. That night they realized the half-dead weren't just creatures. They were mirrors, shadows of lost lives reaching for the living. The boundaries between survival and surrender blurred, leaving the group trapped in a world that demanded impossible choices. When they finally reached the outskirts of Washington, the city was unrecognizable. The skyline was shattered, bridges collapsed, and smoke rose from every block. Streets were filled with thousands of half-dead, wandering aimlessly yet eerily organized, whispering memories and calling for release. The White House, once a symbol of power, now stood surrounded by this restless army. Inside, scientists and military personnel worked feverishly, conducting experiments that blended life and death, trying to reverse the nightmare. The survivors discovered that the government had created the fog through an experiment meant to achieve immortality. Instead, it had backfired, merging souls with bodies in a limbo between existence and oblivion. Panic surged as the group navigated the wreckage, witnessing twisted experiments and tortured beings caught in the borderline. Every step revealed horrors, yet also hope, the possibility of finding a solution. Travis hacked into the security systems, exposing the horrifying truth of the failed experiment. Mia's determination grew. She knew there might be a way to restore balance, but Ethan's instincts warned of danger. Every corner of the capital whispered threats, every shadow promised death, and the line between friend and foe blurred in the chilling world of the borderline. In the heart of the city, beneath crumbling streets and shattered monuments, lay the machine that caused the chaos. Travis deciphered its complex systems, a massive device designed to separate the soul from the body, to grant eternal life. But it had malfunctioned, trapping millions of souls in a state between life and death. The survivors realized that restarting it could either restore humanity or destroy everyone left alive. The hum of the machine was ominous, vibrating through the ground, resonating with the half, dead above. Mia studied the schematics while Ethan kept watch, their fears mirrored in Travis's tense expression. Each moment brought whispers from the borderline, pleading, threatening, tempting. They understood that this machine was more than a tool. It was a gate, a cruel experiment that had trapped the nation. The half, dead, were drawn to it, instinctively knowing their salvation or doom lay within its mechanisms. The trio knew the stakes. Someone would have to cross into the realm of the borderline to activate the machine. The decision weighed heavily, for it meant risking permanent disappearance. Yet, the desperate hope of saving millions outweighed fear. Time was slipping, and the machine awaited its human operator to restore, or end, life. As the group navigated the ruined streets, they realized that every half, dead, was a reflection of something lost. The city whispered, streets echoing fragments of memories, laughter, sorrow, regrets, and unfinished goodbyes. Mia heard her brother calling from the shadows. Travis's father apologized through the fog, and Ethan's fallen comrades murmured warnings. The borderline wasn't just a limbo, it was a web of unresolved lives aching to connect. Every whisper was a lure, tempting them to step into the fog and never return. Moving cautiously, they avoided clusters of the half, dead while heading toward the machine. Fear mingled with sorrow as they witnessed those trapped, suspended between reality and oblivion. It became clear. Survival required understanding their pain, acknowledging their existence, and resisting the pull of empathy that could cost their lives. The city of whispers was a labyrinth of memory and despair, testing their resolve. They learned that life in the borderline wasn't about combat, but about willpower. Every heartbeat mattered. Every decision could mean salvation or surrender. The trio pressed on, hearts heavy, determined to restore the line between the living and the dead. Mia stood before the massive power core, the fog swirling around her like living fingers. She knew she had to cross into the borderline to activate the machine, a place no living person could survive without losing themselves forever. Ethan pleaded, his voice cracking, begging her to reconsider, but she held firm. Memories of loved ones, lost chances, and the desolation outside strengthened her resolve. As she stepped into the fog, the borderline enveloped her, revealing millions of trapped souls suspended in a timeless void. Their eyes begged for release, their whispers a haunting symphony of despair. Reaching the core, Mia pressed the controls, feeling a surge of energy pulse through the realm. Light exploded across Washington and beyond, reaching every corner of America. The half-dead collapsed, lifeless, while some of the living regained consciousness, breathing again, eyes warm, hearts beating. But not all were restored. Mia's figure faded, absorbed into the fog, a hero lost to save the world. Ethan and Travis watched in disbelief, realizing survival had a heavy price, and the boundary between life and death was more fragile than anyone could have imagined. The fog lifted across the United States, revealing cities scarred by chaos, yet slowly coming back to life. Streets once filled with the half-dead were now eerily silent, only the occasional heartbeat breaking the stillness. People rose, dazed but alive, clutching loved ones, tears mingling with relief. Yet some remained lost forever, trapped in the borderline, unreachable and silent. Ethan broadcasted a message across the surviving networks, warning others and calling for unity among survivors. Though the machine had restored the living, faint whispers persisted in the distance, reminding everyone that the border between worlds was fragile. Mia was gone, a hero swallowed by the limbo she had entered to save millions. Grief mixed with gratitude as survivors learned the cost of meddling with life and death. Though humanity had survived, the echoes of the borderline promised that one day the line could blur again. The nation had been tested, and only those willing to face fear, loss, and the unknown could endure. In America, life returned, but the whispers never ceased, a haunting reminder that the dead are never truly gone.